Okay, hello and welcome to Ready Player Chump, the second episode of the motion
No, we're
picture
not.
cast.
We're not doing that.
We're not doing. I know we're not.
We're not doing Ready Player Chomp.
I know we're not doing the gay Ready Player Chump, but so essentially Thomas was eating crackers and I had some chips. Doesn't matter. Okay, so yeah, this is the second episode of the motion picture cast working title.
No shit.
We have a new rating system.
It's literally just numbers.
Yeah, but numbers have definitions now, which is important because people give arbitrary numbers, but I made it so that the numbers are less arbitrary. So there it is up on the screen.
Whoa! That used to be my job. Anyway.
Oh wow! Look at that! Oh, I'm zooming in on the numbers. Look at that! Ooh, here we go.
Okay. Enough of that.
Yeah.
On into the spoiler-free section.
It's important to notice though that number 2, like 2 out of 10, is completely unwatchable, but just below that, number 1, that's Four Stick, which is
very important.
The 2015 Fantastic Four film.
Very important detail.
Can
we move on with the review now?
Yeah. Spoiler free.
Okay, spoiler free. Okay. So, I'm just going to give a basic plot synopsis, the kind you'd read on the back of a tastefully made, thing on the back of a CD, or, a DVD case.
Mm-hmm.
Not the ones that spoil the entire movie. Anyway, so, please refresh my memory. What's the main character's name again?
His name is Wade Watts, because it sounds like a superhero's alter ego, like Peter Parker or Bruce Banner.
Okay. So, the main character, Wade, lives in the year 2045, and Earth is kind of overcrowded, and the only place people can go to really escape their lives is a virtual reality world called the Oasis.
Yes, and the catalyst for the film is essentially 5 years before the film starts. This eccentric billionaire called James Halliday, he dies and he leaves his fortune and the I guess control of the Oasis in an Easter egg hidden somewhere inside the simulation, and the first to find it gets all of that.
And that's the plot.
Ready Player Chomp. 2000.
Wait, should I explain who the villain is and what they want to do, or is that too much of a spoiler? IOI
is the second biggest company behind the game company that Halliday owned, and they want to take control of the Oasis so that they can put ads in it and take over the entire world's economy.
Okay.
Which makes more sense in the book, but we'll get to that.
Speaking of the book, I wanted to mention that real fast.
Yeah, okay, do that. Go talk about that for a sec, because I've got to go turn on
the heat. But I've never read the book!
No, just talk about what you're going to say. I'm gonna go turn on the heat.
Okay, so a while ago...
Oh, actually, the gain on this mic is such that I could probably stand anywhere in the room and still be heard reasonably well.
Yeah. So I was looking at the Wikipedia article for the Rush album 2112.
I love that album.
Way down the bottom in pop culture references, I saw that one of Halliday's challenges in the book was to find the guitar and bring it to the Temple of Syrinx.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
That didn't happen in the movie.
2 out of the 3 challenges in the movie are different than the book.
Yeah, I realized that as soon as I remembered the article, because I was like, wait, wasn't one of the challenges literally just 2112?
Yeah, I love 2112. It's my kind of music because, like, if you're somebody who doesn't like arbitrary words, like yeah, baby, and stuff like that, and you want, like, a proper narrative in your music, 2112 is the album for you. It's like 25 minutes, but it's great. It's by Rush.
21 minutes and 22 seconds or something like that. In fact, not to go on a tangent about Rush, but Rush has a lot of, like, rock operas.
Mm-hmm.
Necromancer, Hemispheres has one, and I guess you could count Xanadu. Anyway, Rush is great. Go watch them. There's a couple Rush references in the movie.
Yeah, there's like posters and stuff. And I saw this really great like motion comic. Somebody had done like a motion comic for 2112, and it's quite good. I like it. It's like it's like I guess it's like fantasy sort of style art, but it's done in like you know how in a motion comic things like vaguely move.
No, not really. I'm not the comic guy.
Okay, well it's like a motion comic for 2112. It's quite good. You should check
Oh,
it out.
oh yes, I've seen that. Yes, I've seen that. Yeah, yeah.
Um, Daniel Sex Bang also did a 2112 parody.
6969, excellent song.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you talk about the book a little bit because you actually read the book. I didn't.
You know, I tried
Read the
to
book.
I tried to not include because I've got a list here on like Google Docs of like points about the film and stuff, but I tried to keep as far away from relying on the book as possible so I could look at the film as its own piece of work. But
I know, but we're in the spoiler-free zone of the movie. Might as well talk about the book.
So I guess in the book, I can talk about the major differences. In the book, the first challenge is is hidden on like a school planet, because this is an important part of like the socioeconomic oasis, which is a bulletin point on my list. But yeah, everybody goes to school in the oasis essentially.
Oh,
Yeah,
that
everything
wasn't.
happens. People have jobs, and people go to school in the oasis. That's why it's such a valuable resource. But in the film, they're like, "Oh yeah, it's the most valuable economic resource on Earth," but there's no reason, there's no explanation as to why. Because in
Yeah, and
the
there's one scene. Is a guy. He's just in work in the real world with the headset on, and you wonder why is he in the headset if he's already at work? Are they letting him slack off all day? Is he working in the Oasis, but he's also in an office in Japan?
yeah, that's the thing though. He's like in an office building already
Yeah.
with the computer. Yeah, because the other people in the room don't have headsets on.
Yeah, and they stop him from committing suicide.
Yeah.
Because he lost all his items.
Yeah, that's something we'll come back to later. In this
one last thing, though, before.
What's that? Oh yeah. So in the race in the film is not a race; it's a game of Joust, which is an old arcade game.
Oh, I love Joust.
Yeah. So essentially, like Wade finds the dungeon, and he has to like fight Halliday's, not Halliday's avatar, but like a character that Halliday created from like inspired by a Dungeons and Dragons character. And he has to beat that character at a game of Joust to receive the copper key, which I guess would be less interesting in a film. So it's probably for the best that they changed that.
Yeah.
It's more interesting if you're inside the character's head and you can read what his thought process or his thought process and strategies are. The second challenge in the film or in the book is the 2112 thing. Where he has to find the Discovery Cave and stuff like that.
Cave of Discovery.
Yeah.
It's behind a waterfall or something.
Yeah, it's behind a waterfall. It's in the second song in the album titled Discovery.
It's, well, a lot, like, you can include all of the songs as one with different parts.
Mm-hmm.
I think, yeah, on the album it includes them as separate songs, but if you go on Spotify, 2112 is just one song with like just 7 parts.
It's just a big. It's like that on YouTube as well. It's just a big video. But yeah, if you were to look at the album cover and stuff on the back, it would say Discovery and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or Priest of Syntax.
Syntax? Syrinx.
Syrinx. Yeah, that's all I can really say without spoiling stuff, I feel like.
One last thing before we go into Spoiler Town. Which did you like better, the book or the movie?
I like the book better.
Really?
Yeah. I have a lot of problems with the film because of like the poor universe that they established.
I noticed it has the same problem as the Batman Telltale series does. There's no U.S. government ever, or any government of the world who does anything. It's just big companies.
Oh, right. Well, I mean, Harvey Dent runs for mayor in that game, doesn't he?
Yeah, he runs for mayor, but, like, nobody from the U.S. government comes to, like, stop him from taking over Gotham.
Right.
Like, the FBI doesn't get involved or anything.
No.
He just is able to do it all. And it's the same with IOI. They're just able to do whatever the hell they want.
Yeah, oh, okay. See, that's important in the book. Because the government is like a joke in the book, okay? So, elections are such that you could just, like, vote at your home on the Oasis. And, essentially, like, people just vote in dumb celebrities. And that's what the government...
like they're doing today!
Yeah. Yeah, like how Kanye is running for president next election.
And Trump is in there now.
Yeah, but I mean, Trump's like a business mogul before he's a celebrity.
But he was a celebrity.
Yeah, he was a celebrity, certainly. For his show, The Apprentice.
Yeah. You're fired.
You're fired, kiddo. Get out of here.
Yeah. That wasn't explained well in the movie.
No, it wasn't. There's a lot of universe problems I have with the film. It's like most of it.
Okay, time for spoilers. Now
okay,
I'm gonna do the thing.
Oh, before we get into the heavy stuff, I'd like to say that I like the way Halliday spoke. He was very
Yes.
He wasn't very good socially. He sort of stumbled over his words and stuff like that, and you know, kept his head down and refrained from eye contact and stuff like that. I thought that was really important because in the book and stuff, he has Asperger's, but that's never referenced in a movie directly. It's just sort of, you know, it's just sort of implied.
That actor did a very good job.
I agree. What was his name? Hold on, let me look this up. No, he's somebody famous. I just can't remember who.
He looked familiar.
Yeah.
I've seen him in something before.
He sounded familiar. Ben Mendelsohn.
Never heard of him. What else has he been in?
I don't know. Hold on. He's been in The Dark Knight Rises. He was in Rogue One, a Star Wars story.
Oh.
So he's been in stuff we've seen.
He's probably like side character.
Yeah, he's also not American, so I think he did pretty well. Yeah.
I'm gonna do the thing now.
Okay.
I have a new spoiler zone thing instead of the pirate one like last time. This is new. Spoilers!
Wow, it was a pleasure to watch your audio waves as you did that.
The waveform is like, I give up.
It was essentially just a white screen.
You're gonna have to, like, make that quieter or something.
Yeah, I'll have a listen
Anyway.
and see how it sounds.
Spoiler town.
Spoilerton.
Okay. You go first, because I can't think of anything.
Okay, so I'm going to start with the socioeconomic implications of the Oasis, okay? So in the Oasis...
Go.
What?
Go!
Okay. In the Oasis, or in the book and stuff, the Oasis is, like, firmly established as being, like, the sort of home for humanity, because, the reason why, like, nobody goes anywhere in the real world and stuff is because there's a massive energy crisis. And everything's incredibly expensive to, like, travel and stuff is incredibly expensive, and, nobody really goes anywhere because they just don't have the energy or oil or resources or anything like that. And essentially the planet's dying. Overpopulation is obviously a problem, which is why the stacks exist.
Listen, I noticed something.
Mm-hmm.
Those stacks Like, how many stories high do you think they are?
Well, Wade's stack was only 8.
8. Okay. So you could fit maybe 20, 24 people on that stack?
Right. See, that's the problem. In the book, though, like Wade's stack is 22 trailers high, which is
Okay.
which is like a reasonable solution for overpopulation to just jam a bunch of people in, a ton of them. But in the film, it doesn't sort of solve any problems.
They are not very high.
They're not very high.
And wouldn't it be easier to build like tall apartment complexes?
Yeah.
You fit more people in a smaller amount of space.
Yeah, because the problem is, yeah. Well, like in the book and stuff, like Wade's apartment or Wade's trailer has like 7 people living in it.
Oh.
It's his aunt essentially just took him in when his mother died because she wanted like extra food stamps. And that's the only reason why he lives with her. But in the film, she's not super cuntish. She's just a little cuntish.
Her dad. I mean, not dad.
Yeah, her
boyfriend.
dad. Yeah, her boyfriend is the worst.
I guess they just shifted like the fuckery around.
No. In the book, he hits Wade as well.
Oh, so they just removed the fuckery from the aunt.
Yeah.
Do they die in the book?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Everybody. Okay. So yeah, another change is I'll try to stay away from the book once we get past this. But another change is that like there's no physical resistance. Wade just sort of like stays in his little van for a bit after that, and then he essentially like because he's the like number 1 celebrity. As a result of his being like the first one in the Oasis to find the copper key and stuff.
Yeah.
He just sells him his intellectual property, like his face and stuff, so they can put it on like action figures and T-shirts and stuff like that. So that's how he gets the money to leave Columbus. Because in the film, there's like another city, and in the book, there's another city where IOI is, and I can't remember which one it is.
Don't ask me. I've never read the book.
I'm trying to think. It's somewhere in between, like it's like somewhere between in the triangle formation of like Texas, Detroit, and like Nevada. So it's somewhere in like that little triangle. But yeah. So he leaves Columbus on like a bus. And under like a new identity, because he goes on the black market of the Oasis, and he switches like his retinals and everything like that, all his data over to this new person that he's created, this new identity. So he's no longer Wade Watts.
Uh-huh.
And that's how he's able to escape like IOI, figuring out that he's alive and stuff.
And in the movie, he just hopped in a van and drove away.
Yeah. Or he was kidnapped.
Yeah, he was kidnapped.
He was kidnapped by the good guys. I don't see why that's necessary, though.
What was necessary? Him being kidnapped?
Yeah, to like suffocate him.
Oh, yeah.
Why not just say, "Hey, mate,
hey, we're with the Resistance. Come with us.
I'm with Artemis in H. Come with us and hang out." Because IOI is bad. Oh, that's another thing as well. Like, there's a big coincidence wherein, like, all of the characters, all, like, the major characters, all the Gunters live in Ohio. Like, it's really unlikely that all members of the High Five live in,
Don't mention it.
Live in Ohio. Because in the book and stuff, they're pretty spread out, and it's sort of like, it's like a challenge to get them together, and they don't get together till, like, the very end of the book. And, yeah, Artemis is from Vancouver.
Oh.
Yeah.
Canadian, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Lovely. I have a theory about this film. Not really a theory.
Okay.
But, so, when I was watching it, I was like, there were undertones There were a lot of undertones.
Of what?
It was like the whole thing. Like if you like ignore the action stuff and all the stuff for like the kids, it's like a commentary on online relationships,
right?
And like the like the climate of the internet.
Is it though? Because
it's like, okay, so you got like people who spend all their time in the Oasis, or like games like Second Life or World of Warcraft, where people do actually spend like 20 hours a day on them, like farming coins and stuff. And
why would anybody do that? Just pay like a Chinese dude like $2 an hour.
That's the thing. That's the thing. It's a commentary on today's society.
Okay.
And, big dude with the robot belly. What's his H?
Yeah, H.
He's like, how do you know Artemis isn't Chuck,
a
300-pound dude who lives in his mother's basement? And I laughed at that because it's something that happens a lot of the time.
Yeah, that's brought up a lot. That's like a running joke in the book. Like, Artemis will sometimes screw with Wade by referring to herself as Chuck. And that's the thing. That's like a big... Okay, so... There's... The romance in the movie's really piss poor, I think.
Piss poor at best.
Yeah, and here's why, right? It's because he meets her one time, okay? And then she, like, asks him out on a date. And then they, then they're in love. And then, like, he professes his love for her the second encounter they ever have. They meet for 5 minutes.
Third.
And then, like...
It's like the third. First, it's in the workshop.
Oh, yeah, but that was right after... Like, they meet on the racetrack, and then they go to the workshop together.
Yeah, and then she leaves.
And then the second time they meet is at the party.
No, it's not.
When do they meet again?
They meet another time, she asks him out, and then he goes back, gets changed, and then goes to the nightclub.
She asks him out at the, Does she not ask him out at the garage? When does she ask him out?
No, she doesn't. I think it's at the archives.
Oh, yeah, you're right. There's the whole archives bit, yeah. Yeah, that's right.
That's where they find out where to find the second challenge.
Yeah, the Jade Key.
The Jade Key. But still, very little screen time of them together, like maybe 8 minutes of any actual conversation.
And then they're like... And then he confesses his love for her, and then for some reason she also loves him, but like claims not to because she's trying to save the world.
I guess there just wasn't enough time to develop their character.
Yeah,
that's the problem with adapting a book to a movie.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's not that long. The film's like 2:20, isn't it?
2:20.
Okay, yeah, so. If the film's 2 minutes and 20 seconds, if the film's 2 hours and 20 minutes, you've got like 20 to 30 minutes of wiggle room you can use.
They had to use the wiggle room for all the pop culture references.
But what I mean is like the standard movie length is 10 minutes longer than that. If you wanted to make the movie 20 minutes longer, you would have had a lot more time to like flesh out the relationships between the characters.
And it would also make sense from a business standpoint. If you spent a little more time working on it, you could release the movie in the summer.
Yeah. Yeah.
When more people will see it.
Yeah, that's probably true. I don't know how well this movie will do.
It's scored fairly well. I don't know how much it's making.
Yeah, it's getting good reviews. Yeah, I guess we won't know till Monday how much it's making.
Do you remember the scene where he's got the suit with the pressure thing on it?
Yeah, the Harptic or Heptic suit or whatever it's called. Yeah, and she like rubs up against his crotch.
Yeah, like a suit hand job.
Well, it's not even. It's like a back rub.
Yeah, but on his dick.
Yeah.
It's a back rub on his dick.
Well, her back.
No, she uses her hands.
No, she doesn't.
Oh my god. She goes up around his back, between his legs, and then, like, rubs his dick.
No, she caresses his body, like, with her hands, but then she, like, flies around on the dance floor and, like, not, like, swims almost between his legs.
Well, it doesn't matter exactly what she did. It was an awkward scene.
It was an awkward scene, and, like, and then it cuts to, like, Wade sitting in his van, like,
yeah,
moaning,
going like, oh.
It's very odd.
Yeah.
There's a sort of, like, thing in the book as well, but it's not with Artemis. He, like, there's in in the book he like he buys or he uses like all the money he gets from advertising and stuff, and he uses it to rent an apartment in the city where IOI is, and he like spray paints his window because like this is right after Artemis breaks up with him, because they are actually like they have a lot of time in the book to establish like a proper relationship, so it's a lot more compelling. But everything in the movie happens in like 2 minutes. Everything's like really fast forwarded. So yeah,
another symptom of being adapted from a book.
Yeah, as a really high budget TV show, I think it would have done really well.
Yes.
Yes. Anyway, yeah, so he gets like in his apartment, he can't be distracted, so he only leaves the Oasis to like shower and eat. And he like orders pizzas and stuff. He orders food through the Oasis to like come through a little slit in his door. And that's how he lives for like 8 months until he figures out how to get the Jade Key. And
8 months?
Like yeah, the book takes place over the course of like a year and a half. Yeah, so it's like everything's very firmly established. But he gets like he gets essentially like a real doll.
A what?
Do you know what a real doll is?
I have an idea.
It's like he gets like an Oasis sex doll.
Oh no.
Yeah. And that's I guess that's the equivalent for the film. It's like Artemis swimming between his legs.
Oh god.
But he gets rid of it because he spends too much time with it and he's no longer focusing on the Jade Key.
Oh my god. When you're writing a book solo, it's easy to just put in a bunch of weird shit.
Mm-hmm. There's a book in the what's Halliday's avatar called, like Adnarok?
It doesn't matter.
Anyway, so there's a book called there's a journal he wrote like throughout his life and stuff about his thoughts, and he released it at his death. And there's like a bit in that book where he references like you know what, never mind. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to like hit on was like the drive backwards thing.
What was that? Okay, yeah.
It was very odd that nobody's ever just driven backwards. Like even
if I were in that universe and I was like there for a while, I'd probably get frustrated at some point and just decide to crash my car into the rear of the arena at some point.
Right. Well, here's what I would have discovered it like instantly, because I'm obsessed with the Statue of Liberty. In every game I play that takes place in New York, I like try to glitch my way to Liberty Island. I spent like 2 years in like of Ultimate Spider-Man gameplay just trying to like get to the Statue of Liberty, okay? So I would have definitely, without a doubt, driven over to the Statue of Liberty almost immediately. And just by like chance found the Easter egg.
Oops.
Yeah, or found the key, not the Easter egg. But like, come on, you're telling me nobody's ever like slid backwards?
No, nobody at all, ever.
There are a lot of explosives. Nobody's ever like been blown back there. Nobody's ever gotten spun around. You know, you get spun around in like. Have you played Gran Turismo? You get spun around in that game
I
all
played
the
the one on
time.
PS1, I think.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought that was a bit dumb.
It was a cool scene. I like the whole like you could see like the geometry of the level from under the level.
Yeah.
Even though in a real game it would all be like invisible textures.
It's also very weird that it's all like vector graphics under there.
Well, I mean, he did intend
for people to see it.
go down there.
Yeah, he intended it. It's like a little. What I was thinking about in that scene as well is like, has nobody ever like no clipped?
You can't cheat in the Oasis.
Yeah, but like, Halliday's one guy. There's got to be somebody who's like adequate enough to just hack it. Also, there's a bit of an echo.
I assume.
Do you have headphones or something?
No, I don't.
Okay. Could you turn your speaker down a little bit then?
Okay.
Because I don't want an echo in the recording. Okay.
Well, I'm sitting very far away from the.
Well, I can hear
so.
I can hear an echo of my voice.
The second challenge was the Shining.
The Shining, yeah. So this,
right.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So there's technically the book consists of 6 challenges.
Oh.
Where like you get the key, but you also have to get to the gate. So like the 2112 thing is part 2 of part 2. In that every time you get a key, like you have to do a challenge to get a key, and then you have to find the gate. And the 2112 bit was his attempt to find the gate after having completed the second challenge. And in the book, the second challenge is essentially you live through a movie. And the movie is War Games with the fellow who played Ferris Bueller. Have you seen War Games?
Never seen War Games.
Okay, it's a great movie. You should watch it. But essentially, Wade has to play the main character, and every time like he screws up a line, he loses points, and you can only screw up a couple times before Halliday deems you unworthy because you're not as obsessed with his things as he is.
Oh, I see.
Like
that would have fit a lot better if like even if they kept The Shining, like if they had to play through some scenes of The Shining.
Right, because even The Shining bit isn't accurate to The Shining.
No, it's not. I've never seen The Shining, and I know that.
But you saw The Shining. You saw it in Nova Scotia.
Did I?
Yeah, you and your family watched it like 3 years ago.
How do you know that?
Because I remember.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, your dad told me that you were going over to your grandmother's to watch The Shining. That was 3 summers ago.
I don't remember ever watching The Shining.
Okay. Well, you have. You don't remember it. Okay, anyway. Yeah, anyway, so the obsession, or the theme of like the book is essentially obsession. And Halliday is a lot less likable in the book in that he's like a jackass who wants everybody to be obsessed with the same things he's obsessed with.
I see.
Because he felt like an outcast and stuff in school. Yeah, what else do I have here? Oh yeah, the avatars are a big deal in the book. But they don't have time. Like, all the avatars in the film are different than they are in the book. In that everybody's avatar, like all the high five, their avatars mean something. In real life, they have some sort of real world significance. Like H is a lesbian black female.
Yeah.
And her sexuality isn't touched on in the movie because there wasn't really time. But But yeah, so in the book, she's not like a weird cyborg thing. She's like a white like teenager, like a guy. And that the reason is because like it's just easier to play.
So, like, more like the main character's avatar
Like
in
Wade
the
Watts,
movie.
yeah,
Yeah. His Final Fantasy fan character.
yeah, his OC, yeah. In the book, his avatar is different too. It's just him.
What, you mean he just uses his own face?
Essentially, like he sort of recreates like an approximation of himself as his avatar,
Oh,
and
okay.
that's like the sort of it sort of establishes a dichotomy between like Artemis and or sorry H and Wade, whereas Wade is
Yeah.
like a genuine dude who like wears his heart on his sleeve. H is more of a like a private, hidden, reserved person. Um, because in the books and stuff, like H came out to her mom, and then her mom like kicked her out of the house,
Oh, no.
and that's like why she lives in a trailer, or not a trailer, but like an RV, which is the apparatus she drives in the book.
It seems like they caught a lot of the characterization.
Yeah, Artemis in the so Artemis in real life is essentially like what her avatar looked like. Because the idea with Artemis is she has like this physical insecurity, and that's what holds her back from like revealing herself to Wade for so long in the book
Yeah,
because
and that
they don't meet till like the last chapter in
in the
person.
in the movie,
There's no
it,
tension. They just sort
he
of
like he looks in her face and he's like, "Don't worry about it," and then everything is fine.
yeah. Yeah, there's a
No
lot.
more insecurity.
There's well, I mean, like in the book, it's the same way in that he doesn't care about like her physical condition, but it's different in that there's tension and there's buildup and there's like you wonder what's wrong with Artemis physically because she's like, oh no, don't worry, you'd be disappointed, and she's like, oh yeah, I'm crippled or I'm horribly deformed or I'm a guy named Chuck in a basement, take your choice. But yeah, in the movie, or sorry, in the book, to like the last like pages of the book, they meet in like the last 3 pages in person.
What's her deformity in the book?
It's the same as the movie, but essentially, like her avatar is important in the book because it's the idealized version of herself, in that it
Without,
looks pretty much like she does in real life, but it's like an idealized version
okay.
where she's more athletic, like she's got like an athletic body, and she's got like she doesn't pull her hair in front of her face because she doesn't have the birthmark.
Mm-hmm. Uh, so in the Shining challenge,
Yeah.
there's the scene where all the IOI guys are trying to beat the challenge, and there's just like screaming. I thought that was fun.
Yeah,
but
that was fun. That was fun.
It
No,
would have been a lot funnier if they were all trying to remember lines from The Shining, but they can't do it.
yeah. Red rum.
And what was wrong? What was up with that? Like the corpse dancing scene?
I don't know.
Was that in the book?
No.
Okay.
The Shining's not in the book.
The corpse dancing scene's a bit weird.
There's a reference to Halliday liking Stephen King, but there's nothing in the book from any of Stephen King's work. Because like they replaced the War Games film with like the Shining film, but it wasn't the same challenge either because they just had to wander around and dance with like zombies.
Yeah, it wasn't clever, really.
No.
Well, that one, no.
They just asked the girl to dance.
Yeah, ask her to dance. Do what Halliday couldn't do.
It's a little on the nose.
Dance with the girl, and there's a band. There's an electronic metal band called Dance with the Dead.
Oh, also like the movie would have been over if Wade didn't bet all his money. Do you
Bet
remember
all his
that?
money.
Like in the archives when Morrow gives him the coin that gives him an extra life.
Yeah.
That wouldn't have happened if he didn't like happen to say, "Oh yeah, I'll bet you all my money that she's only mentioned once."
Oh, okay. Yeah, but I mean, he probably would have given them the coin anyway.
Would he have?
Yeah, because he was like trying to help someone beat the.
Yeah, but he's a jackass, isn't he? He's just sort of rude to Wade.
Yeah, but he's like putting on an act.
Yeah, but why?
Because he doesn't want to just tell somebody that. Oh,
No, but why is he there at all? There are
He's
NPCs
there for a good old Shyamalan twist.
in the in the book and stuff. Like he plays a pivotal role in the formation of the High Fives team on a physical basis. But that's because he's like hanging out. He's like invisible and he's hanging out around the High Five, around Wade and stuff, because he was asked by Halliday before he died to like protect the sanctity of his challenge. But in the film, he just sort of happens to be a curator.
And in the film, it's even stated that Halliday didn't tell him about the challenges.
No, yeah, it's specifically said that he didn't know anything about the challenge. So it's
and
weird.
he went out and was
It's
like,
weird
"I'm
that
gonna
he's, like, hanging
chill.
out.
I'm gonna chill in this
Yeah,
library until someone comes along who I think might be able to beat the challenges."
right.
And he did.
And they did, yeah.
So he was just sitting like in his room all day in the Oasis, just standing at a desk.
Yeah, I guess.
That's commitment right there.
Or maybe he like I can't imagine he does that. I have to imagine he gets like a notification or something, and then he runs. He's using he's taking a dump, and he gets a notification. He has to run over with like his pants down to get his headset. He's got like a piece of paper or a piece of toilet paper on his foot.
That would have made the movie better.
Yeah, I want to know the logistics behind that. Oh yeah, so a big problem I had with the movie was like the humanization of IOI.
Humanization?
Yeah, in that like the employees and stuff. Oh, also like when the Iron Giant stomps on a group of employees, why do all the employees who happen to be next to each other in the game, why are they also next to each other in real life?
Yeah, I noticed that. I was very cheesed off that they all happen to be right next to each other.
It should be very sporadic.
In the real world.
Like Spielberg is like one of the most famous directors of all time. He can't like figure out that he should zoom the camera out and just have random ones go off to make it seem more authentic.
Sure, that would have been more authentic, but I can understand what he's going for. Where it's like, oh, look at that.
It's really annoying.
A bunch of them died.
It's really, because it's like they die in the shape of his foot.
Yeah, they die in the shape of his foot. It's cool. It's cool.
But it's really annoying, is what it is.
Annoying. And when the planet destroyer.
Oh yeah, the catalyst.
It was just one giant wave from one end of the room to the other. That was dumb. I mean, in the scene with The Shining, whenever someone got axed, it was just a random person getting killed.
Mm-hmm.
I guess, well, it's fun. It's fun to see them all die in the same general area.
Yeah, is it? Or is it distracting?
It's distracting, and it's fun.
Is it? I didn't have fun with that. Like,
I had fun with that.
I understood the decision, but I didn't like it. It was really distracting.
Well, what are you going to do?
I'm going to write a
You're going to give it a bad review. That's what you're going to do.
I'm going to leave the film a bad review on Yelp because that's how Yelp works. All right, let's see what else. Oh yeah. Okay, so yeah, the humanization of the IOI. Um, the only real bad guy in the IOI seemed to be like that chick and like the main guy.
Yeah, all the rest of them were like cheering
Yeah,
Wade
Nolan
on
was
at
his
the
name.
end.
Sorry, Nolan Sorrento. But like, yeah, the people like the Halliday scholars, they were cheering Parsival on. But the thing is, like, they're all out of the job.
Yeah. Now that
Why are
they're all
they
going to be
cheering? They should be.
fired.
They've spent the last 5 years of their life trying to ensure their future, because essentially, like, the deal is with the IOI is if you become a member, if you enlist in the IOI, and you win the egg, like when IOI gets the egg, you're essentially like good for life. They
Right.
just pay for you to live. And the problem is now that they don't have jobs.
Well, I guess they're just going to have to try to get hired by these bunch of teenagers.
There's a distinct lack of concept because they don't have any skills. They like know about Halliday, but that's not useful anymore.
Well, I guess they're good at researching stuff.
There's a real lack of consequence. They're not though. They're really bad at what they do.
They figured out that Adventure is the right game. They couldn't figure out that they had to actually get the Easter egg.
But Adventure's pretty obvious, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
It was.
No, well,
it's one of
Halliday's
it's one of Halliday's all-time favorite games, and it was the first Easter egg game.
But I wanted the game to be the Sword Quest games because
I love the Sword Quest games. The Sword Quest games are like are in the book, but they're not important.
The story of Sword Quest is very interesting.
Yeah, but how would you make that part of the film?
I don't know. It was part of film Sword Quest games.
Yeah,
and that was the only mention.
They
and then they were just like,
they were like, oh yeah, there was this game called Sword Quest, and it came in 4 parts, and then like it cuts away as she's talking.
Well, yeah. So they mentioned it once, but and they're like, it's not Sword Quest, and then they immediately move on to Adventure.
Let's see. Oh yeah. So Wade, when he gets control of the Oasis, by the way, he signs over like, oh yeah, no, he does that in the movie too. Like they're all they're all owners, but in the book, like there's a bit, their motivation for trying to like get all the money and stuff is so that they can fix the world, because if you have that resource, it means you can fix the energy crisis and stuff like that, and try to like help the world regrow. But there's none of that. There's no reference to any energy crisis or anything like that in the movie. They just sort of like get the money and then buy stuff with it.
Yeah. They stop it from being
like Artemis
controlled by IOI, but that's it.
Artemis uses the money to buy the dress that she had in the nightclub in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, so that's the problem. Okay, so in the book, everybody goes to school in the Oasis, and everybody works in the Oasis, and that's why it's such an important resource. Is it because it runs the world? Okay, so if you run the Oasis, you control the world, and that's the motivation of IOI. But in the movie, they just want to put advertisements over 80% of the screen, which is silly.
A little bit silly, yeah.
But yeah, like if you turn off the Oasis on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, that means that people just can't work full time. There's no so Wade Watts eliminated full-time jobs and school for 2 days a week.
Well, I guess the motivation behind that was to get people to try to do stuff in the real world.
Yeah, sure, but like, do that by using the money to fix the real world, like in the film. That way people don't have to escape. But he just shuts down the entire world's economy for 2 days a week.
Yeah.
Why?
Imagine if somebody passed a law where the internet had to be turned off for 2 days out of the week.
Yeah, the thing is, like, most people still work physical jobs in the real world. But imagine like if everybody worked from home on their computers and then it just shut off on Tuesdays and Wednesdays.
Even if people do still work in the real world, a lot of things go through the internet that control like important stuff in space or whatever.
The world would collapse if the internet went off for 2 days a week. So imagine a world where everybody does their job in school via the internet, and then it shut down for 2 days out of the week because some kid wants to make out with his girlfriend.
If a world that is not 100% reliant on the internet shuts off the internet and it collapses, a world that is 100%
dependent,
reliant on the internet will definitely be destroyed if it's turned off.
He's
for
crippled
2 days
the world economy.
He's just like stock market crash every week.
Hold on. What? Okay, there's a lot of sirens out my window, but they don't seem to be going anywhere.
Okay. I don't hear any sirens.
No, you're in a different part of town.
Oh yeah, I'm the good part of town.
It's true.
The burbs.
The burbs.
Let's talk about that last scene where they're all assaulting the castle.
Yeah.
So, in a real video game.
Did you get the Terminator reference?
Yes, I got the Terminator reference.
With like the Iron Giant sticking his thumb out of the lava?
Yes, I got it. Yeah. Don't worry.
I had a fairly annoying crowd. I don't know if you had this, but when I was in the theater, man, these people, like every time the DeLorean would show up, or like every time like Harley Quinn would appear and stuff like that, people would go like, you get, oh, look at that, look at me, I'm so clever.
Yeah.
I know what Harley Quinn is.
I had 4 people sitting.
I know what Halo is.
They did not shut up the entire movie. It was like a double date. So they were cuddling and being super annoying.
Oh, man.
Did you... I thought I saw Lollipop Chainsaw. But that might have been Harley Quinn, because it looks similar.
Okay, listen. The Batmobile's in the race, okay? Like, H bumps into the Batmobile, and, like, the red bat on the side of the car is very prominent on the screen. It takes up, like, a third of the screen. I don't know how you didn't notice the Batmobile.
Listen, there was a lot of things that references that I missed, because, one, my eyes aren't very good. So all the tiny little characters, you can only, like, pick out 1 or 2. Man, and I'm not a Batman fan that much.
The screen's 2 floors high.
The screen is 2 floors high.
It took up a third of the screen.
I'm also sitting 2 floors away.
Okay.
I wasn't close to the screen. I was in the back, kinda.
Yeah, but like, it's very prominent.
I missed it, okay? Deal with it.
Let's see. What else do we have here? I guess I could just read off the points I have. So 8 stack, which is like how high the stack is. Avatars, hasty plot, drive backwards, poor romance / instant love, lack of tension in romance, IOI Halliday scholars happy about losing jobs, the socioeconomic oasis, lack of emotional impact of characters, lack of consequences, humanizing the IOI, fantastic cinematography, which was good. I especially love the bit where Wade is talking to Nolan Sorrento in the IOI building, and it's like it doesn't use his avatar. It cuts to him in his van, and then it cuts to Nolan as though they're in the same room. So it adds a more personal element than just his avatar standing in front of the actor. Because Wade walks forward and stuff in his trailer, and he's very physical about his acting. So it makes the confrontation seem more personal, like they are face to face. So I like that. The CGI is fantastic.
I listen. The first scene when they went in the Oasis, I was like, "Hey, that makeup is really good." And then I was like, wait a minute, their eyes are too big.
Can I tell you?
Oh!
Can I tell you a story about Star Wars: The Last Jedi?
Oh no.
I was really impressed with Leia in The Last Jedi because I thought she was a CGI puppet. But The Last Jedi was filmed before she died, so you know the bit where she's like talking to Luke in like near the end of the film in the Rebel base when she's talking to Luke, and I was like, oh man. Like, I imagine that Mark Hamill was talking to like a basketball or something in actuality, but they were just like sitting in front of each other having a conversation. But I didn't know that. I thought she had died and they'd been using a puppet. So I was like, oh man, they're really good friends in real life. So this must be really hard for Mark Hamill, to have this emotional dialogue with his lost comrade.
But he's actually talking to the real person. Oh, yeah. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, did you hear, like, that awful general? Like, the pink-haired girl?
Oh, her?
The actress, yeah, the one who dies. The actress was, like, on Twitter or something recently. She confirmed that her character is Force-sensitive.
Okay.
Which doesn't make any sense.
This isn't Ready Player One.
Okay, anyway, yeah, sorry. Oh, there's a bit in the book where, like, they all get robots. You get a robot for completing the, there's a Blade Runner bit. So, have you seen Blade Runner?
I've seen bits of Blade Runner.
Okay, so, they go to the, what's the building called from Androids? Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? Anyway, they go to the big building, and, or Wade goes to the big building, because he does work alone for most of the film, and H is just, like, his buddy, and they don't work together until the very end of the film. There's always, like, a competition, sort of. There's always, like, a rivalry between the High Five. They're like, mates and stuff, but they don't, like, work together until it's absolutely necessary. But, anyway, so he has to do, like, the test from Blade Runner to determine whether he's a replicant or not. And, in, like, when he completes that little sub-challenge, he gets, like, a robot. Like, he gets a pick from a bunch of robots, and the Iron Giant is in there. But nobody takes the Iron Giant. They take, like, mostly Japanese, like, Super Sentai bots, essentially.
Oh, I see, yeah.
And Wade Watts picks the absolute best robot in all of Japanese history. That robot is Leopardon, the Spider Mech. The Spider Zorg. So have you seen the 70s Japanese Spider-Man live-action TV show?
No.
He's an alien warrior from a spider planet. And he rides around in a giant robot called Leopardon.
That's brilliant.
And yeah, it's the Zorg from Power Rangers, only with, like, webs on it. And the reason why they look so similar is because they're the exact same robot. They're the exact same robot repainted. So after that show ended, the robot was just in storage or something for like 10 years, and then they needed a robot for Power Rangers, so they took Leopardon and repainted him, and Leopardon is the Zorg from Power Rangers.
Mind blown.
Yeah. A bunch of the IOI guys, so like a bunch of them try to get the key in the book. Like, the whole IOI team has keys eventually because they figure out how to get through all the challenges. But they try to, like, assemble Voltron because they get like 5 members of the IOI team to get 5 different 5 different lion bots, and then they try to build Voltron, but they die before they can do it because they suck, and there's like 10,000 or like 1,000,000 players trying to attack them.
Oh no. That would have been cool.
The battle's really epic in the book. There's a bit where he gets Wade gets a capsule from a Japanese TV show called Ultraman. Do you know what Ultraman is?
I can guess it's just a Super Sentai show.
Yeah, sorta. It's like he has to fight kaiju and stuff.
Oh, yes, I know Ultraman.
Okay, yeah, and he uses like this capsule to become the alien / like science experiment Ultraman. And in the like, okay, so you know the glove that turns you into any robot for 3 minutes in the film?
Yeah.
In the book, that's like the capsule, and it turns you into Ultraman for 3 minutes. So Wade grows to like 500 feet, and he can like cross his arms to like blast shit, and that's how he fights that's how he helped fights Mechagodzilla.
I thought that scene in the movie was probably my favorite scene, where Gundam fights Mechagodzilla.
Uh-huh. Oh, also, yeah, okay, so IOI is like a lot more hateable in the book. And see, this is the reason, like, everything's very impactful because everything has a lot of time to establish, and they don't, like, devalue anything with humor and stuff, which they do in the movie. And, like, so they sort of have a humor element to the IOI in the film, but in the book and stuff, like, they kill, like, a lot of people to get what they want. You know the 11-year-old?
Yeah.
In the book, he's a little bit older, but in the book, they like find out who he is. They break into his apartment, and they fucking throw him off the building.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I'm assuming the book was more adult.
Yeah, they say like shit and dick a lot in the film, but yeah, the book is fairly adult. I mean, there's a lot of adult themes. There's like masturbatory-based references, a lot. Like halfway through the book.
Listen, saying shit and dick a lot does not make it mature. It makes it PG-13.
It makes it. Is it PG-13 or is it like the next one?
I think it was PG-13.
Really? Because they said shit like 8 times. I don't.
Yeah, but they only said fuck once.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I guess that's the rule. You can say shit as many times as you want, as long as you don't say fuck more than once.
Yeah, I mean...
What do you think this podcast would be rated? Probably R at this point.
I'm sure they'd complain if you said shit too many times.
I would have thought that, like, if you were to submit that film to PG, like, for a rating system, they would make it not PG-13 for the very virtue of, like, the crotch swim.
Yeah, that crotch swim was kind of weird.
That's got to be a running joke on this podcast, though.
Yeah, crotch swim?
Crotch swim, yeah.
So when a movie is rated a little lower than you think,
like,
it would
whenever an awkward scene happens in the
movie, rated higher because of crotch swim.
Yeah. or like oh man, you know, that dialogue was real awkward. It was a real crotch swim. The dialogue's kind of really messy at points as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
A lot of messy dialogue.
Especially in the Oasis.
Yeah.
But you know why that is?
I hate when, like, there's a bit where Wade calls, like, his uncle a noob. He calls him a noob and then gets punched in the face for it.
Yeah, that's not a big insult.
I don't believe that, like, in 2045 people are still calling each other noobs, because people don't do that now.
Unless you play Minecraft.
Yeah, I guess unless you play Minecraft, which is referenced in the film.
Yeah, there's a Minecraft world.
There's rock climbing with Batman.
When I saw the Minecraft world, I was like, that makes perfect sense.
There's a lot of DC Comics references. There's like Deathstroke, Harley Quinn, Batman, and the Batmobile. Like, I wonder why that is.
Did you see the Battletoads?
Yeah, I saw the Battletoads.
Did you see Master Chief?
Yeah, he was in a bunch. Yeah, I saw Master Chief.
Did you see the 4 Master Chiefs?
Yeah.
There were 4.
There's a squadron of Master Chiefs, yeah.
Which makes no sense.
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess it can't. Well, there's also 2 Harley Quinns.
I thought that was the same Harley Quinn.
Yeah, it is for the second half of the scene, but there's a Harley Quinn leaving the club with a Deathstroke when Wade enters, and then there's the Harley Quinn that's around for the rest of the scene.
I thought that was Lollipop Chainsaw Woman.
No, that's Harley Quinn.
Okay, I'm gonna look up a picture of Lollipop Chainsaw.
She's got like a purple top, and like she's got like her boyfriend's head fixed to her hip, and she's got a chainsaw, and like pigtails.
Oh yeah, that's totally different person.
Yeah.
Wow, 5 out of 10.
What, Lollipop?
Yeah.
What was this? Oh yeah, do you want to give your rating? I suppose we've talked about most of what we can.
Yeah. Just let me stretch first.
Okay, so hold on. Let's consult the rating system here.
Okay, let me bring it up. All right, here it is. Motion Picture Cast scoring system. That is one vintage projector.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let me see.
There's
okay.
Okay, well, here it is. Wow.
Well, I was watching the movie.
Uh-huh.
I list all the mistakes and the continuity errors and the whole socioeconomic problems. They didn't bother me that much. I had a really fun time at that movie. I thought it was amazing. I'm giving it a 9.
You're giving it a 9? All right. So I had an incredibly fun time in the theater watching that movie. I thought it was a great fun watch. I'm gonna give it a 7.
7. Okay.
Because the best part of the concept is the universe, and the universe just wasn't built in that film.
Okay, sure.
It was fun to look at, but that's as far as it goes, really.
I get where you're coming from.
There weren't any implications for any of the stuff that happened. For any of the things that happened.
I just don't care. I had fun.
Okay, I had fun too. 7 out of 10. Good stuff.
Great. Okay, on the next episode of the Motion Picture Podcast, it's probably going to be
Avengers.
The Avengers. The
Infinity War.
Infinity War. That's what I'm looking for. Probably.
Yeah, unless something else comes. What else is coming out? Nothing really. We could do the Woody Woodpecker movie.
Oh, Pacific Rim 2 is out.
Yeah, I don't want to watch that.
I kind of want to watch it.
I mean, I'll watch it. I mean, I like the first one enough, but like, I'm not gonna pay money to see it.
Okay, I'll see you next time.
If you want to torrent it with me, we could do a review of that. The thing is, there's not a lot to talk about with like robots fighting kaiju.
I mean,
it'd be like a 20-minute show.
Sure, but in the first Pacific Rim, there was a lot of sciencey talk that I thought was fun.
Yeah, I haven't seen that movie since like 2012.
Well, I mean, there was a lot of sciencey talk.
I saw it in IMAX though. It was.
I'm eating crackers. That means the podcast is over.
Oh yeah. By the way, no. One more thing. Do you think people should see it in 3D?
What?
Do you think people should see it in 3D?
Absolutely not.
No?
No, there's a lot of flat.
Yeah, it was very flat. It was very flat.
I mean, a couple scenes where the characters' faces were kind of close, they popped a little bit. There was like one time where the sound came from behind you, which is what they do sometimes with the 3D.
At the beginning of the film, like, I took my glasses off. When it's like moving through the stacks and stuff?
Yeah.
The camera's moving through the stacks. I took my glasses off because I couldn't tell the difference. There was no depth, so I was like pulling my glasses on and off to try to tell, but there was very, very little difference. It was very slightly more in focus with the glasses on.
Well, that's generally how it is with movies nowadays. They just make it 3D.
Yeah, I wish I could have seen.
Rim
I wish
is not in 3D.
No?
No.
Great. I can't wait to not watch that in 3D.
Yeah. Anyway, go on with what you were going to say.
On my laptop. From the internet. Right, Thomas? Are you going to see it in person?
Now, can I get back to playing Minecraft?
Yeah, but I'm going to have to ask you to take time out of your day to to rock climb with Batman.
Don't worry. I'll make sure to rock climb with Batman.
All right. So I guess that's the show. Until next time, no crotch swimming.